introduction, setting the scene, actually starting the rasa dance, but then Krishna disappeared. So now let us enter into chapter 30, which also starts off with an interesting feature. As I was doing the studying, depending on which version, either the Srimad Bhagavatam or the Krishna book, this chapter has two different headings. One is Krishna's hiding from the gopis, and the other is the search for Krishna. Now you may remember that in our very first lesson, we learned about Vibhava and the different categories, Alambana and Udipan. And Alambana had two divisions, the Ashraya and the Vishaya, the lover and the beloved. So if we look at this different headings and chapter titles, we can see that one is from the point of view of Krishna. Krishna is hiding from the gopis. And the other is the search, the gopis, from the gopis side, the gopis search for Krishna. Krishna hiding from the gopis is actually Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book translation and focus. And the gopis search for Krishna is the Srimad Bhagavatam, either the BBT or the Sarartha Darshini versions. So it's interesting to note there's a little bit of difference there. It's a worthy meditation. So let us dive in. Samapraya, can you pick some readers, please?
Yes, Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for attending this nectar. Let's start tonight with Akurnath. Would you like to begin reading the Krishna book?
Haribol. When Krishna suddenly disappeared from the company of the gopis, they began to search for him in every place. After not finding him anywhere, they became afraid and almost mad after him. They were simply thinking of the pastimes of Krishna in great love and affection. Being absorbed in thought, they experienced loss of memory, and with dampened eyes they began to see the very pastimes of Krishna, his beautiful talks with them, his embracing, kissing, and other activities. Being so attracted to Krishna, they began to imitate his dancing, his walking and smiling, as if they themselves were Krishna. Due to Krishna's absence, they all became crazy. Each one of them began to tell the others that she was Krishna himself. Soon they all began to assemble together and chant Krishna's name very loudly. And they moved from one part of the forest to another searching for him. Actually, Krishna is all-pervasive. He is in the sky and he is in the forest. He is within the heart and he is always everywhere.
Why don't you go on reading, Akurnath?
The gopis therefore began to question the trees and plants about Krishna. There were various types of big trees and small plants in the forest, and the gopis began to address them. Dear banyan tree, have you seen the son of Maharaj Nanda passing this way, laughing and playing on his flute? He has stolen our hearts and has gone away. If you have seen him, kindly inform us which way he has gone. Dear Ashoka tree, dear Naga flower tree, and Champaka flower tree, have you seen the younger brother of Balaram pass this way? He has disappeared because of our pride. The gopis were aware of the reason for Krishna's sudden disappearance. They could understand that when they were enjoying Krishna, they thought themselves to be the most fortunate women within the universe. And since they were feeling proud, Krishna disappeared immediately just to curb their pride. Krishna does not like his devotees to be proud of their service to him. He accepts everyone's service, but he does not like one devotee to be prouder than others. If sometimes there are such feelings, Krishna ends them by changing his attitude toward the devotee.
Oh, okay. Should we have a little talk now or just finish the whole thing, Pati?
Sure, let's do that, because then it switches over to the gopis begin to say their prayers.
Let's do what? Have a talk
a little
now?
discussion.
Okay.
That was worthy, especially the
I
last
have-
part.
Yeah, I have two questions, Akurnath. One is, what does that mean, became Krishna? What does that mean? Became Krishna. How they become Krishna?
They started imitating Krishna to satisfy their friends. They were pretending that they were Krishna. Not that they became Krishna, but in their madness of we discussed before. I don't know whether it's Vaibhava or Anubhava or Vyavachari Bhava, but in their madness of thinking about Krishna, they started imitating his pastimes for each other. And,
Hmm.
and
Do you think, what do you think that is the cause of that? Just to help each other, or they would be going mad? How about love being what does love have to do with it? Yeah, yeah. What does
what's
love got
love
to
have
do
to
with
do
it?
with it? Tina Turner. Um,
What?
yeah, I guess when you love someone so much, then you become so absorbed in them that
Yeah,
you identify with them.
that's beautiful. Anyone else have something to say about these two paragraphs before we go on?
I wanted to say about the
Oh,
pride. I think it's a
oh,
stern warning for us that even if in the transcendental
that's right.
pastimes of Radha and Krishna and the gopis, if that's, as we learned last time, it was a pretense for creating this feeling of vipralamba, but it's also that Krishna does not like a devotee to be proud, and while we're in Maya, we sometimes get proud, and then he changes his attitude. I
But then
see
yeah,
Bahushra's hand is up.
yeah. Also, a different kind of pride, I think. Go on, Pahushra.
Yeah, that's very true. Is that Prabhupada said that the most dangerous positions for a devotee are the servant of the spiritual master and the pujari. So when you're on the altar, if you make a mistake, boom, things happen. You bang your head, you bump into something, something gets dropped on your foot, and say, okay, Krishna, okay.
And Bahushra has began because he is the head pujari in Berkeley at the time.
I'm the servant of the servant.
You're the servant of the servant with that title. Hare Krishna. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Let's read the last paragraph. Kalpa, would you like to read that? Starting, the gopis looked.
No,
Oh,
the
no.
gopis then began to address the Tulsi plants.
Oh, he didn't read that?
No,
I think he read that.
no, he didn't.
Okay. Okay. Kalpaji, would you like to read that? You have to
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The gopis then began to address the Tulsi plants. Dear Tulsi, you are much beloved by Lord Krishna because your leaves are always at his lotus feet. Dear Malati flower, dear Malaka flower, dear jasmine flower, all of you must have been touched by Krishna while he was passing this way after giving us transcendental enjoyment. Have you seen Madhava passing this way? Oh, mango trees, oh, trees of jackfruit, oh, pear trees and asana trees, oh, blackberries and bal trees and trees of kadamba flower, you are all very pious trees to be living on the bank of the Jamuna. Krishna must have passed through this way. Will you kindly let us know which way he has gone? The gopis then looked upon the ground they were traversing and began to address the earth. Dear earthly planet, we do not know how many penances and austerities you have undergone to be now living with the footprints of Lord Krishna upon you. You are very jolly. The hairs on your body are these jubilant trees and plants. Lord Krishna must have been very much pleased with you. Otherwise, how could he have embraced you in the form of Varaha the boar? When you were submerged in water, he delivered you, taking the whole weight of your existence on his tusks.
Right. Do you have something to say about that? Anything strike you, Kalpaji?
Well, every plant and every flower in Vrindavan is a person, is a personality. So they're talking to them just as if they were, because they are other persons and they all have love for Krishna also. So they're thinking maybe those plants had seen Krishna or been touched by Krishna, and they wanted to know, what that felt like for them.
Good. Anyone else? That's beautiful. Bahushra?
It's mentioned in other places that when Krishna would pass by, the trees would bow down, so they would bend down. So that would be like an opportunity for the gopis, but they're in such ecstasy. But that would let them know which way Krishna went.
Patti, you also were mentioning something about this, about the different kinds of plants and trees.
We'll pick up on the,
Can I say one thing?
sure.
I was surprised that they knew about Krishna's boar incarnation. I thought that was kind of cute.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay. I don't know if anybody else, thought that that was kind of unusual.
Well, we already established that they know more than we think.
Oh,
They appear to be just simple village girls, but they are the topmost devotees and they know everything about Krishna.
okay.
As we progress through the story too, through the narration, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur expands on each one of these prayers very nicely, explaining how each one, the gopis think, will be progressively more knowledgeable about where Krishna is. And you'll note that the last paragraph was about Mother Earth. After asking all the plants and trees in the forest where he was and not receiving any answer, one of them said, I know someone who's in constant contact with him, no matter where he goes. And the other gopi said, oh, who is that? And she pointed to the ground. And they realized that wherever Krishna is on earth, that she'll know. So as we progress through these stages, you'll notice how each one of them, we can talk about it as we go through each one. It's actually quite tasty. It's beautiful. So why don't we do that, Sama? We'll go into the next section.
Okay. Jatari, would you like to read?
Oops, hold it for a second.
First, we have to get to the page.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything.
No, I'm
Yeah,
still doing it.
we're working on it here.
Okay. Sukadev Goswami said, when Lord Krishna disappeared so suddenly, the gopis felt great sorrow at losing sight of him, like a group of female elephants who have lost their mate. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This chapter describes the gopis' madness and separation. They're inquiring from the trees about Krishna and their imitation of Krishna's pastimes. It also tells how Krishna enjoyed with Radhika and then abandoned her. The word achakshana, not seen, means the same as apashyanta, not seen Krishna. The gopis became filled with pain like female elephants losing their mate.
Why don't you read the next one too, Jatari?
Okay. As the cowherd women remembered Lord Krishna, their hearts were overwhelmed by his movements and loving smiles, his playful glances and enchanting talks, and by the many other pastimes he would enjoy with them. Thus absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, the Lord of Rama, the gopis, began acting out his various transcendental pastimes. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The gopis began searching for Krishna here and there, and not finding him, their agony of separation increased more and more. The Sanchari Bhava of Unmada, divine madness, which appeared due to this pain of separation, is described in 2 verses in its manifest and unmanifest state. First, Krishna, Rama Pati, the master of all beauty and opulence, approaches the gopis with the natural movements of his feet. Coming before the gopis, Krishna shows his affectionate, gentle smiles and glances, in which the pupils of his eyes dart about in a special way. After attracting the gopis' minds, Krishna captivates them with charming conversations, such as the following. Krishna, O lotus lady, are you going to offer your honey to this very thirsty honeybee or not? Gopi, O bee, the husband of the lotuses is the sun, not the bee. How can we allow you to drink our honey? Krishna, but my dear lotus, The very nature of your lotuses is that you don't give your honey to your husband, the sun, but rather to your parama, or the bee. Repeated by Krishna's words, the gopis would laugh and then let Krishna drink the honey of her lips.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ranga, why don't you read the last paragraph and then we can
Actually,
have
before we continue, Sam, I don't want to lose this thread.
Okay.
We were just talking with Akuranath, understanding he wasn't really sure of what state the gopis bhava was. Here it's described, it's a sanchari bhava of unmada, and it will be described in subsequent purports how this bhava increases as they continue through this particular actions. So I just wanted to bring that out so everybody can watch it as it grows.
Right.
Because just like anything, when you first come across it, there's recognition. But the more we become absorbed in it, the more it absorbs our consciousness. Just like the yogi, there's asta, eightfold yogic steps. Yama, niyama means what to do and what not to do. Then there's asana, finding a proper place to sit down. Asana, pranayam, the yogi sits and starts to meditate on his breath. Pratyahara means that the concentration becomes so focused on the breath that the outward world starts to dissipate and one starts to come within, pratyahara. Then dharana becomes a meditation, dhyana becomes more steady, and finally samadhi, where the lila starts to manifest. So in the same way, the gopis are now running through the forest and they're starting to look for Krishna. That's the first stage. So now let us progress and we'll see what happens as they progress through these stages.
Okay. Well, let's finish this
Yeah.
next paragraph. Ranga, do you want to continue as the gopis?
As the gopis in their state of separation remembered these ecstatic moments with Krishna, their minds became overwhelmed. Ah, what are you doing here? Go out again and look for the darling of your life. In this way, the gopis chastised their own minds, which were on the verge of leaving their bodies. They acted like this because they were in pramada, a state of extreme madness due to the loss of one's mind. Then, rising to the stage of unpada, complete madness, the gopis' minds became totally absorbed in Krishna. At this time, the gopis intelligently imitated the wonderful pastimes of Krishna.
So they chastised their minds. Can you talk about that? Help.
No. I can't imagine a gopi's mind. I only have my crazy mind.
Even the gopis chastise their minds. So what? But does that means a different thing? I think.
Yeah, of course it does.
Chastise.
Well, there's no end to the gopis and their affection for Krishna. So they involve their minds and their hearts and their intelligence and everything. That's about it for me.
Hare Krishna. That's complete. Yes, Akuranath.
There's a well-known kind of literature, Manashiksha, where devotees like the Raghunath Das Goswami has a very beautiful, famous one, where devotees are instructing their minds and even chastising their minds for, why don't you worship Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan? Why are you, absorbed in other things?
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, good. Anyone else about the mind?
Yeah, one more point as we progress. I found this verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The first part of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar of Devotion, is all about Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, the rules and regulations, following the temple program, regulating the senses, etc. That's like the yama and niyama of the yogi, preparing the consciousness to go deeper. The second part of the book is Raganuga Bhakti, but it's still sadhana. It's Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. And that means sadhana of Raganuga. Raga, Nuga means to follow. Nuga, Anuga, like Rupa Nuga, means to follow Rupa Goswami. Raganuga means to follow the Raga, the Ragatmika Bhaktas. Ragatmika Bhaktas are the residents of Vrindavan, of Braj. So the verse says, Tad bhava lupsanakarya vrajloke anusarata. Tad bhava lupsanakarya means the bhava, the mood, the mind, how they're thinking. Vrajloke anusarata. The residents of Braj, one should follow. So the idea is that in these texts, we're learning how the gopis progressively enter into deeper and deeper thoughts of Krishna. And if we want to experience or taste, this is what Lord Chaitanya even wanted to taste it. The Lord himself became so enthusiastic, wanting to know, what is it? How they're meditating on me. We're in this material world, we're so distracted by everything we read previously about the different rasas and how they're simply perverted reflections of reality. And we become so absorbed in them. This affords us the opportunity to transfer our consciousness into becoming absorbed and learning what they're thinking and trying to adapt and adopt a similar way of thinking in our own lives.
Mukunda, do you have your hand raised?
Oh, Hare Krishna, forgive me, I'm traveling now, so I'm in a little awkward situation here. But the verse that Prabhuji is quoting, there's two meanings here, because it says Seva Sadika Rupena, Siddha Rupena Chatri, Tadbhava Upsanakara, Vraja Lokanu Sarata. So in our aspiration, we want to follow the nature of the residents of Braj according to the particular mood we have. But the other part says in our sadhak group, we want to follow those who demonstrate the path clearly for us. Like we'll follow Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, how they did bhajan in Braj in order to obtain that state.
Good, good. Very important to follow the self-realized souls, beginning with the spiritual master. Very, very good. Excellent point. Anyone else? Okay. Well, let's go on. Jagarini, would you like to read? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Because the beloved gopis were absorbed in thoughts of their beloved Krishna, their bodies imitated his way of moving and smiling, his way of beholding them, his speech, and his other distinctive features. Deeply immersed in thinking of him and maddened by remembering his pastimes, they declared to one another, I am Krishna. Kind of answers your question from before, huh, Sama?
Right.
Yeah. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The verse describes the mature state of the gopis' condition of unmada, absorbed in the gate, and other characteristics of Krishna mentioned in the previous verse. The gopis imitated the Lord. First, the actions of Krishna entered the senses and the mind of the gopis' bodies, and then the gopis' bodies entered into the various actions and qualities of Krishna. Due to madness, the gopis lost all sense of distinction and considered, I am Krishna and Krishna is me.
Jagarini, kind of mine that a little bit, dig into that and explain your understanding of what's going on in this progress. Yeah.
It sounds like hypnotism almost, a kind of trance that they were, they were so absorbed in thoughts that Krishna actually entered into their minds and into their bodies. And then they just felt him. And they declared that I am Krishna and Krishna is me.
It's interesting. I was meditating on the word gate. Actually, the gopis saw Krishna walking. They were intimately relating to him. They saw his walking. They heard his flute. They related to him. They touched his body. This is not I have to admit that I haven't seen his gate. I would love to. I mean, that would be it for me to see Krishna walking. This is a whole wonderful thing. So their meditation on memorizing their memory of Krishna, and I mean, you know, sometimes I feel like, okay, you know what? I haven't even seen him. You're lucky to be seeing him and missing him and knowing how he walks. That
I also, when I read that, I also was thinking of, you know, it's of course it's the perverted reflection in the material world, but you know, these are young girls, and you know how young girls, when they get crushes on guys and they notice every little thing about how they
Yeah.
walk and their curly hair and this and that,
that's
and
true.
it's kind of you know, trickling down from the spiritual world in a
Trickle, trickle, trickle.
Yeah.
But you know, if we
the
met,
gopis. I mean, imagine, you know, after perfecting their sadhanas and after becoming completely purified and actually seeing Krishna.
because the you know, using these mundane examples is it always makes me feel like, you know, that we're warned about it. Prabhupada uses them warning us that, you know, it has nothing to do with anything mundane. So the way, even we might use it as a crude example, but let's think of something more transcendental
But
rather than
I'm
using.
not thinking of it as the example. I'm thinking of it as what it is. It's the perverted reflection of
It is, yeah.
of real love, of what's going on in the
Yeah,
spiritual.
we are very aware of the perverted reflection of everything. Let's start getting to the reality here. Akornath, did you have something to say?
I just worry about how Mayavadis may comment on this aspect of the gopis Unmada, that because I've had them tell me, what, you know, you can be Krishna, and I'll if I can tell you a quick story. One time I had a Mayavadi Bhagavatam and brought it into my room in Berkeley Temple, and I put it on the shelf, and in the middle of the night I heard a thump and it was on the floor. So I said, oh, maybe I didn't put it on the shelf right. So I put it right back in very solidly, all the way in on top of the shelf. And then thump, I woke up again and it had jumped out of the shelf. So then I threw it away.
Hare
You got the
Krishna.
message.
Yeah, it's all mixed up. It's all mixed up. You know, I still can't see the top of the
Mukunda
hand.
also has his hand up.
Okay. Mukunda, because I can't see the top of my screen, which I
Oh,
don't
just
know,
raise the hand.
just go like that.
Okay.
Some also, if you press on your keyboard Control minus, it will make it
Control
smaller.
minus.
So as you're doing that, I just
Okay.
want to explain
Yeah.
a little bit. These things are explained in Ujjwala Money, and it's explained that this is the state of Ruda Mahabhav. The prem grows in different stages, like prem, sneha, man, pranaya. Rag turns into anurag. Anurag turns into Mahabhav. Mahabhav has one division called Ruda Mahabhav, and what they're experiencing now is called Adi Rud Mahabhav. In that Adi Rud Mahabhav, there's two divisions. One is called this Divya Unmad. And Unmad means two things. They do extreme endeavors, which are very unusual because of their absorption. That is called Udgurna. Later on, when Radharani will start speaking incoherently, that is called Chitra Jalpa. So these are the symptoms of Adi Rud Mahabhav. So their actions are due to the influence of love itself at such a high level.
Yeah, that's it.
Got a question about that, however. I've read that you're saying this is the gopis because it's a general description in this particular part of the text. I've heard that only Srimati Radharani exhibits Rudha Mahabhav.
Yeah. Rudha Mahabhav can be experienced in Modan by Radhika's group, Mohan primarily by Radhika, and Madan only in Radhika.
Yeah.
So, but the here in this description also they're not making discernment, but other acharyas have commented this is not all the gopis, because the Sadhana Siddha gopis are now going through the stages where they are now missing Krishna, so they're tasting what is rag. And from rag, they'll come to anurag, then to mahabhav. Right now, they had danced with Krishna. They felt some subhagyamat, some pride. When Krishna disappeared, they're feeling the intensity of that pain, which is called rag.
So can we surmise, earlier we were speaking about how one of the aspects that's noted is that the Sadhana Siddha gopis matured in the association of the Nitya Siddha gopis.
You're exactly
This
right.
may be one of those examples.
This is exactly the example.
Right. They're seeing this, they're understanding it, and by that association, they also take on and
that frame growth.
are risen
Exactly right.
and helped by that example.
Exactly right.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. Shall we go on?
Yes.
Okay. Bahushra, would you like to read the next paragraph there as the gopis?
As the gopis reached the topmost limits of tasting this ras, they became tad-atmika in the sense that their selves assumed a likeness to Krishna as they announced to each other, quote unquote, I am Krishna. But they did not adopt the mood of ahangropasana, thinking oneself one with the Supreme, as is established by the words priya, priyasya. None of the gopis were conscious at all that they were women of Raj. They had attained a unique state of madness, unmada, or vibramaha, in which they identified completely with Krishna in his pastimes. I remember that I don't know what stage it is in Samadhi, but you actually enter into the deity. So it was mentioned that the gopis started to actually think that they were Krishna. That's one of the symptoms that you start to feel that way. And the Mayavadi would take it that, yeah, of course, you went into Krishna, you become Krishna. Instead of it actually being only Gaudiya Vaishnavas can understand the ecstatic aspect of entering to the deity, where you become like the deity, but at the same time, you're not the deity. But it's the ecstatic symptoms.
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's very, very, we have to be very careful, but you're right. That's the exact difference between impersonalism and personalism right there.
I think because we've heard so much from Srila Prabhupada in our training that these kind of things, they kind of jump off the page. And, with some maturity, we can understand there's a difference. In an immature stage, that might be very difficult to kind of fathom.
Yeah, it's the same words, it's the exact same thing, but you see it in two different ways. Okay, let's go on. Sukada, would you like to read? And whoever is not reading, let's mute. Sukadaji? You have to unmute.
Yes.
There you are, darling.
Okay. Singing loudly of Krishna, they searched for him throughout the Vrindavan forest like a band of mad women. They even asked the trees about him, who as the supersoul is present inside and outside of all created things, just like the sky. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. When the Ummada passed its peak and began to subside, the gopis began to search for Krishna in a half-conscious state. That is described in this verse. Grief-stricken because of separation from their beloved, they thought, we must search for Krishna. Coming together in a group, they wandered from forest to forest, singing loudly of Krishna. Lost in the madness of love, the gopis even asked the trees about Krishna. This is a symptom of their ummada state. Someone may argue, we know that Krishna was enjoying with Radha, the chief gopi, at that time. Therefore, was he even aware of the questions that the gopis were asking in their state of ummada? This doubt is clarified by the words describing Krishna as pervading inside and outside of all entities, antaram bahir bhuteshu, like the sky. In other words, although Krishna's original personal form remains undivided, he is also omnipresent. Therefore, Krishna heard the gopis' questions in those places, though unnoticed by them.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I have a question if you would like to answer it, Suki. So they were grief-stricken, and that was in Unmada. And so it seems to me that the lover becomes the beloved in that state of love. Is that can someone help me with that? Is that what, am I saying it properly?
No, you're not saying it properly. That
Oh.
sounds like, how can a person change identities and become someone else? is
No,
what you made it
no,
sound
no.
like.
Through the love, they become so overwhelmed with their love for Krishna that they become Krishna. It's
In what sense?
a
You need
topic
to
that we.
you need to clarify.
Well, they start acting like him. Actually, that's exactly what we see manifest in their state of Unmada, right? They're becoming like him because of their love for him. They kind of change, but it's Mukunda, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that only happens, it is called Prem Vilas Vivat, that only happens between Radha and Krishna themselves. The gopis here have just become so fully absorbed. In Ujalamani, it describes for them, Moha Bhave Sava Atma Vismaranam Sada. They became so absorbed, they completely forgot about their own existence, and they were completely absorbed in Krishna. And therefore, in that complete absorption, they're thinking how he walks, how he moves, how he talks, and they begin to act it out, but they have not changed positions. But with Radha and Krishna, that inversion takes place. That
Okay,
inversion
different.
becomes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Okay. So I didn't mean to go that far. I just meant on the basis of love, they become the beloved.
Absorbed, yeah.
They become so absorbed in Krishna that it's a Chincha Beta Beta Tattva. Ranga, did you want something? Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I kept thinking about Lord Chaitanya throughout these paragraphs.
Yeah, good.
Because that's what he wanted. They seem to, are close to that, but not quite. That's as Mukunda Prabhu just said, only Radha and Krishna can have that, combination that they can feel that from each other. So that's all.
So why is that? Why is it true that only Radha and Krishna can have that particular thing happen? Why?
I guess because he's the supreme personality of Godhead. Only he can.
And how is she also?
Same.
She's also she is Krishna. She is Krishna. Radha is Krishna. That helped me. That understanding that Radha and Krishna are one and separating from pastimes. That helped me to understand Radharani, Srimati Radharani, that she actually is Krishna.
And even though Lord Chaitanya is God himself, he's still not satisfied. Imagine, he's still not satisfied. He wants to know what Radharani is feeling for him, and vice versa. Well, so that's really that's like the end of everything.
Hare Krishna.
You can't go any more than that.
That's beautiful. Sukita, did you want to comment more on this?
No, but I think a lot's been said.
Yeah, thank you. That's true, it has. Okay, so Acharya, would you like to continue reading? Are you there?
Yep, I'm here. It just took me a second to click. Text 5, Sarartha Darshini. The gopis said, "O Ashwata tree, O Plaksha, O Nyagroda, have you seen Krishna? That son of Nanda Maharaj has gone away after stealing our minds with his loving smiles and glances." Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The gopis posed 9 questions about Krishna's whereabouts in verses 5 through 15. Because the Plaksha, Ashwata, and other trees are so tall, They surely must see Krishna even if he is far away. Thinking this, the gopis inquire from the trees in this verse. The plaksha tree is the pilu, and the nirgoda is the banyan tree.
Just want to make note, that's important. The reason they're asking these particular trees is because they were so tall, they thought they might know where he was. Okay.
Fearing the trees would say, "Why are you asking?" The gopis said, "Though Krishna is the son of the pious Nanda Maharaj, he has stolen the hearts of us women and run away.
It's having our Zoom. I'll call you later.
You need to unmute.
He sent his servants as the thieves in the form of his sweet smiles and bold glances, along with a special bewildering potion of prema, which maddens everyone. Passing through the gates of our eyes into the city of our hearts, these thieves have stolen the jewel of our minds and run off. Standing silently for a short time in expectation of an answer, the gopis thought, 'Oh, these trees are useless. They are so proud that they simply ignore us, refusing to give any answer. We have had enough of these trees who have meager fruits and are ignorant of their religious duty of helping others. Besides, their buds aren't blossoming and their hearts are impure.' Thinking in this way, the gopis left the trees and went elsewhere."
Sorry about that interruption. Did you want to comment on that?
Just that it's really nice that the gopis are really mad in this Unmada, but even in their madness, they have a kind of, logical processes going on, like in the service of that madness, that they're mad talking to the trees, but they have, the logic, the rationale to think, oh, we're looking for Krishna. If you're from a higher vantage point, you could see further, so we'll ask the trees. So even in their madness, their logic is still functioning in a way to help them find Krishna. I like that.
Kalpa said something before about the trees and the plants, that they're all, living entities. So I guess someone in the material world might think that the gopis are mad because they're talking to the trees and they're talking to the plants. But is that, you think, a symptom of madness in the realm of Goloka Vrindavan?
I think it is, because even there, although the trees are also jivas and also devotees
and conscious,
but still they're generally still not expecting the trees to answer,
Right.
nor generally do they answer. So I think it still qualifies as a kind of
Isn't that one of the symptoms why Unmada would be defined as quote unquote crazy, mad, because they're speaking with entities that normally wouldn't reciprocate.
Right. On another level, we have in mind that these are also, jivas and devotees of Krishna, and they're doing their service. But as far as the, typical, normal functioning is going on, the trees aren't generally talking to them and saying, "Oh yeah, Krishna, he went that way." So
except if it's Madhavendra Puri, who was a Kalpavriksha tree, you never know, right? Ranga, did you want to say something else?
Just one thing, we always talk about how the gopis left their husbands, left food on the stove, left their babies, all their relatives, something unheard of. And here they're taking it even further. They're just going crazy and mad, and they're saying it, and they're like abandoning all their shyness and all their inhibition, everything. We just want Krishna. We don't care if we're talking to the trees. We don't care if they're answering and they're not. Even they can't answer anyway. They don't have any fruit. They're just like,
not pious enough.
Yeah. I think that's all.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That happens when you become a devotee and you stick with it for 50 odd years. You start to really appreciate these kind of pastimes in a whole different realm. Okay. So did you finish reading this? Are we on the next one? I'm all confused.
Yes.
Okay, Mukunda, you wanted to read? Thank you, Acharya. Kundaji?
Starting at text number 6 there?
Yes.
O Kurubhaka tree, O Ashok, O Naga, O Panaga, O Champak, as Balaram's younger brother, whose smile removes the audacity of all proud women, passed this way? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Entering into a flower garden, the gopis thought, ah, yes, it is better to ask these trees, which have pure hearts, and are graciously honoring their guests, the bees, by serving them their honey. Thus the gopis approached the Kurubhaka tree, and other trees. The Kurubhaka amaranth, has red, unfading flowers. Naga means Nagakesha, which is a very beautiful kind of incense as well. Meeting the trees, the gopis asked, where has Krishna gone? Or where is he hiding? Fearing the trees would ask, why do you want to know? The gopi said, using his smile, Krishna has stolen the false pride of us women, whose wealth is our pride, and has run away depriving us. I just need to move it up a little bit.
Not to move it
up. Of all of our wealth. When the wind shook the tips of the branches, the gopis thought, oh, they are shaking their heads, saying that they do not know. What use do we have for these hard-hearted males? Thinking thus, they went elsewhere.
Hare Krishna. Okay, you want to elaborate on this Unmada?
Yes, this is a continuum in Unmad. It's a way of expressing their absolute absorption. And those Sadhana Siddha gopis who are following them, they're now growing in their own prem by being in the association and witnessing in the Nitya Siddha gopis, especially the party of Radhika, the extreme nature of their absorption in Krishna. So when they're seeing all of these things, for them, it's helping their prem to grow.
Wonderful.
Another point, I love the way that Vishwanath Chakrabarti had the insight to see how each progressive species is more likely to answer. The first were the tall trees. Remember, they were very tall, so they might be able to see where Krishna has gone. Here it says, better ask these trees, which have pure hearts, graciously honoring their guests by serving them honey. In other words, these trees have something that they're actually giving. They're not just tall, they have fruit. So maybe they're more pious and will answer us. And we'll progress to the next set.
Well, before we do Bhushra, thank you, Pati. That was beautiful.
Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj was talking at Uddhavakund in Vrindavan, and he was saying how after Krishna had left the planet, the queens were asking, where's Krishna? We want to hear about Krishna. And they said, oh, well, let's ask Narada Muni. But they said, no, Narada Muni's not here anymore. They said, well, wait, he's also the grass. He's also in the grass of Vrindavan. Let's ask him. So they kept asking, and then he manifested himself, and they started talking about Krishna to them to satisfy them.
Oh, Narada, when he became the grass.
Uddhav.
Oh, Uddhav. I'm sorry. Uddhav. I apologize. Uddhav. Because
Right.
it's Uddhavakund, right?
Yeah,
So it's Uddhav.
Uddhav. Okay. Okay, shall we go on? Reading. Akurnathji, would you like to read? Akurnath?
Sure. O most kind Tulsi, to whom the feet of Govinda are so dear, have you seen that infallible one walk by, wearing you and encircled by swarms of bees? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Approaching the Tulsi, Malati, and other plants, the gopis thought these plants, being female, will understand the agony of a woman's heart and surely be merciful. So let us inquire from them. Thinking like this, they approached the chief plant, Tulsi, and asked, you are fortunate, being dear to the feet of Govinda, but we are unfortunate because Krishna has left us. The phrase Govinda Charana Priye can also mean dear to the respectable Govinda, because the word Charana indicates respect, as in the expression Acharya Charanaha, the respectable teacher. You gopis are also dear to Govinda's feet. Expecting such an answer, the gopis said, true, but you are more fortunate than us because of the additional attractive quality of never experiencing separation. Carrying you around his neck, Krishna has gone off. This proves the magnitude of your great fortune. And do you want me to stop or?
No,
No, keep
we go on.
Encircled by swarms of bees implies that Krishna carries you, even though that means having to ignore the disturbance created by many thousands of bees. Thus, we must conclude that he, who is fond of fine fragrances, has not accepted us because we do not have any such fine fragrance. So their humility is coming out now. Their pride has been cut down, and they're thinking, "Oh, we don't have the good qualities that Tulsi Devi has."
That's a nice insight. One of the reasons he left was because of their pride. So, like you say, the event is working its magic. It's intended.
I have a technical question. I got criticized once because I was saying Tulsi Devi, and then I was correct and said no, it's Tulasi Devi. Is either one okay? I mean, I know there's North Indian accents, South Indian accents. I mean, are they both okay or just Tulasi?
I think they're both okay, since we've been saying it for so many years and we all know what we're talking about. But maybe I'm too liberal. What about the Sanskrit?
Yeah, if we look at the actual writing in the Bhagavatam, we can see if it has a long ah or not. You know, whether it has that extra ah matra.
I don't know if it's extremely important, but Mukunda, of course, probably.
Yeah, if you see it in Devanagari, you can see if there is a long A or not. But as you're saying, Didi, I don't think it's so big for us. More important to understand that Tulsi is Vrinda Devi and how she's serving.
Yeah, good.
Well, I agree.
Not into little details here. Okay, we got enough things to try to figure out. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go on. Wait a minute, I was just thinking, who's going to read? Oh no. Ranga. Ranga, would you like to read? Wait till we finish reading this?
Yeah, where are we?
I don't know.
This is a no one.
Oh, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Are you on
the
9,
verse
Pati?
itself. Yes,
Okay.
on 9.
Kuti, O Priyala, O Panasha, Ashana, and Kovindara, O Jambu, O Arka, O Bilva, Akula, and Amra, O Kadamba and Nipa, and all you other plants and trees living by the banks of the Yamuna, who have dedicated your very existence to the welfare of others. We gopis have lost our minds, so please tell us where Krishna is, gone. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, just see these jasmines are afraid of Krishna and their co-wife Tulsi. So even though they know they do not speak, what use do we have with them, since they are dependent on others? Saying this, the gopis went elsewhere. Just see these mango and piyala trees standing motionless on the bank of the Yamuna. We can deduce that they must be meditating on Vishnu, so they will surely not lie to us. With the faith, the gopis inquired from the trees, O Kuta, a mango creeper, O Mara, O mango tree, O Nipa, dust, Kadamba, what large flowers, O Kadamba, smaller flowers with sweet fragrance, O Piyala, type of sala tree, O Asana, a yellow sala tree, O Kavindara, mountain ebony tree, O coconut betel nut tree, and Arka. We gopis have lost our minds, so please tell us where Krishna has gone. Even though the Arka plant is very insignificant, it always grows near Gopishvara Mahadev, a major Shiva deity in Vrindavan, because it is dear to him. The trees reply, why should we tell you? Gopis, because you are living on the bank of the Yamuna just to benefit others.
Oh, that's wonderful. You have any realizations about that? Just to benefit others. That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're expecting that, they would give it to them because that's what they do. They benefit others, but still they're not doing it. And that's driving them mad.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else want to talk about this verse before we move on?
I thought it was also interesting, again, in that progression how they've even gone from Tulsi, who's always with Krishna, to those that live on the banks of the Jamuna, and thinking that they must be the most pious. They actually live for the welfare of others. There are beautiful verses glorifying the trees in Vrindavan, Krishna telling Balaram about them, expressing how they give shade to everyone. Even if they're cut down, they don't protest. They're constantly giving all their fruits and leaves and everything like that for the benefit of others. So they're approaching them with this attitude that because these particular living entities are magnanimous by nature, they'll tell us. Maybe for this next section, Sam, you can get 2 different readers because it's a little longer and it's the last one.
Okay. Okay. Kalpa, would you like to start?
Starting, O Mother Earth.
Yes.
Of Mother Earth, what austerity did you perform to attain the touch of Lord Keshava's lotus feet, which has brought you such great joy that your bodily hairs are standing on end? You appear very beautiful in this condition. Was it during the Lord's current appearance that you acquired this ecstatic symptom, or was it perhaps much earlier when he stepped upon you in his form of the dwarf Vamanadev, or even earlier when he embraced you in his form of the boar of Varahadev? Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, one gopi said, perhaps these trees and plants did not hear our question because they were in trance, meditating on Lord Vishnu. Or perhaps since they will not tell us where Krishna has gone, they are hard-hearted even though they live in a holy place. Anyway, what is the use of unnecessarily criticizing the residents of a holy place? We cannot ascertain whether they know the whereabouts of Krishna or not. Therefore, we should ask that person who has actually seen Krishna and can tell us the truth. The gopis asked, "O Saki, do you know that person?" Addressed thus, the first gopi replied by pointing her forefinger at the earth. The other gopi said, "Yes, what you say is true. Wherever Krishna is, he is somewhere on the earth. Since Krishna always walks on the earth, she is never separated from him, and thus cannot understand how much his parents, girlfriends, and servants suffer in his absence. Therefore, we cannot simply direct the same sort of inquiry at her as we made to others previously. Rather, we should ask her what austerities she did long ago to get this good fortune. If we know that, then we can also do the same austerities and become free from our extreme state of suffering and separation from Krishna."
Okay, there's a lot here. Maybe you'd like to say something about it, but really what struck me, although we're talking about Mother Earth now, is that person who knows about Krishna. They actually said we should approach that person who knows about Krishna. What do you think that is? How can you elaborate on that?
You're asking me?
Yes.
Oh.
Or anyone, but you read it. I'd like to hear from you first.
Well, what I was actually thinking is that now they have not gotten any response from the plants or the trees, and now they know that Earth is always in touch with Krishna. But they're thinking, well, maybe if we perform more austerities, then we would be able to be constantly in touch with Krishna. So they're kind of like, feels like they're grasping at straws to find some way to be with Krishna all the time. But so they're just thinking maybe we should have done more austerities. By the way, my name means a plant, and it's a vriksha, a creeper that's growing around the kalpavriksha trees. That's what my name is.
Oh, so we can inquire from you, where is Krishna?
Yeah, but I didn't say.
Oh no, now you're stuck. You have to tell us, where is Krishna? Anyway, I was thinking about that maybe in our daily life as well, to inquire from that person who knows Krishna. That is a very important factor in a devotee's life, to always inquire from that person who actually knows Krishna. That really struck me. Mahushra?
There's there it's nicely describing where the gopis are asking Mother Earth, said, do you know where Krishna is? And then for a devotee, it's in the reverse, where in the morning you wake up, there's a prayer you say where you say, "Oh, Mother Earth, please forgive me for stepping on you." So in other words, she's aware of who steps on her,
Yeah.
and the devotee's supposed to be aware that I don't want to cause you any harm.
Right.
There's a beautiful section in the last part of this first canto. The Pandavas retire timely, the disappearance of Krishna. You may remember that section. And one of the prayers in that that struck me when we read it a few years ago was Mother Earth, really feeling complete pain at heart because Krishna had been traversing her his whole life, and now he was no longer present. I had never noticed that verse before. Maybe I'll put it in the forums.
Wow, that's
Go back there
beautiful.
and find it. Yeah.
Okay, so should we continue in this last section? Sugata, are you there? Would you like to finish up for us? Reading this?
Okay. Considering in this way, they then asked, O earth, what austerities did you perform by which you shine with bliss born from the touch of Keshava's feet? Because your bodily hairs, just a second, in the form of grass and sprouts are standing on end, we understand that Krishna has touched you with his feet. Wherever Krishna may be, he stands there touching you with his feet. Thus, you have the pleasure of Krishna's physical contact day and night. Please tell us what austerities you perform that brought about this condition. Hearing that, our lives will become successful. Seeing the earth failing to reply, the gopis remembered her past and presented their conjectures. Your power was shown when you bore the great burden of Vamana's foot as he stretched his other foot from Patala to Svarga. But by what austerity did you get that strength? The word va stands for vai, certainly, or else it completes the rhythm of the verse. Or what austerity did you do to get the firm embrace of Varaha? That austerity by which you get happiness really achieved by others is also joyfully performed because it brings you, a woman, into contact with a man. Thus, there is no woman more fortunate than you.
Oh, what a deep thing. Can you say something about this, Sukada? Mother Earth's fortune.
Well, now they just continue praising the Mother Earth because Krishna is always there with her, and they're remembering even the past when with Vamana, and they are just praising Mother Earth continuously there.
Yeah, it's a wonderful concept, beautiful. Jagarini, can you comment on that?
Yeah, I was just thinking about how they're so maddened with desire to find Krishna that any hint of anyone who's been close to him or has a clue, they're so intent on finding out what it is. So with Mother Earth, his feet are actually on her all the time. She always has his lotus feet, and so they're just absorbed in the qualities of Mother Earth. What must she be like to have earned Krishna's feet on her all the time?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
The way we think of Prabhupada, and I keep relating to this whole thing as find the person who has Krishna. Like that one song, Oy Vaishnava Thakur, you have Krishna, so you please give Krishna to me. So that's and they're searching like that. Even the gopis are searching. Who has Krishna? Give me Krishna. So that's beautiful. Thank you. Akarnath?
We were talking before in the Krishna book about why the gopis were identifying Raha and Vamanadev as Krishna, And I'm not sure reading it over and reading all this, it's not like they're saying that that was Krishna. They're just saying that was the Supreme Lord Vraha, that was the Supreme Lord Vamanadev.
Oh, no, I think they're connecting it. They even say at one point, chastise him in his incarnation of Ram. You know, the gopis are using the different incarnations to speak with Krishna and use analogies. That's what it appears. It's not that they're both. They're aware of his godhood, but they don't relate to him like that. Or sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. You know?
I'm just not sure in the text that we've been reading that, and I'm looking at my BBT version because I was looking up Tulsi before, and or Tulasi, but not Tulasi, and I was thinking that I don't see really where they're saying it was Krishna. They're just saying it was Vraha, it was Vamana. But
why would they even use that example? Patsi, you want to elaborate on this?
I liked what you said, and also it's an insightful prayer, actually, inquiring from the earth, if we look at it from that point of view, because Varaha advented to actually save the earth planet. It was a very intimate act for him to sacrifice and fight on her behalf to kill Hiranyaksha. And we know that after he killed Hiranyaksha and had set her back in her proper position, that he went to Vishramghat in Mathura and sat with her and spoke the Adi Varaha Purana, which is all about how dear Mathura Mandala is to him. And they had a son. So they were intimate on some level because their son is Banasura, Bhaumasura. So the gopis are inquiring that you know this person. Where has he gone? Tell us. How can we also, if you know him and you know where he's gone? I like that connection you made with Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prayer. Krishna Dite Paro, Krishna Dite Paro. Say Tama, Krishna, Krishna, Bole. I'm simply running behind you, yelling Krishna, Krishna. That similar mood.
Yes, it is. They do show the connection. They're saying that because of Krishna, your hairs are standing on end. And, you know, where did you get this strength? Was it in his previous incarnations? You know, so they are connecting the historical, like the current appearance of the Lord with earlier when Vraha lifted you up, or earlier when Vamana stood on you.
Jai Prabhuji's. Very nice. More to come. On what? Was there more?
No, I was just saying, is that all? Did we finish reading everything?
Yeah, we finished. On Saturday, you may remember when we first started, there was that book, that section called Sanskrit Terms and Rasa. And we've done a few of the different categories. And in this section, we just read about the Vyabhachari Bhava, the Sanchari Bhava of Unmada. And Bhahushar is going to elaborate a little more on the Vyabhachari Bhavas and their condition and situation and manifestations in this Rasa Alila. So I look forward to that. Until then.
Thank you, everyone. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhuvebhascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Just one more thing. Thank you all for your association during this wonderful Kartik season. We were able to discuss all these very wonderful pastimes, and tomorrow's the last day of Kartik, so I'm glad that we had an opportunity to associate together during this time. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
See you Thursday. Hare Bo.
Yes.